Natureplus, we are an international association for sustainable building and living. So that's the name in plain, and that's really our mission. So we are, let's say we are an international, basically European network with wonderful members. For example, the ASBP is one of our main members here in the UK, and we really fight for good construction, for healthy construction, for climate-friendly construction, also resource-saving construction. This is really possible, and we know that one key cornerstone there are the materials we use, we apply. So this is our goal, the materials. Materials really matters. That's what we do. Somehow we are both. So on the one hand, we are a non-profit organization really fighting for better construction, and as such we do webinars together with ASBP, for example. We do also lobbying. I mean, politically you can really have a big influence on the construction sector, so we really try to provide good solutions when it comes to materials. We also give information services. So for example, there's a funding list on our website where when you apply good materials, where you really get money for, well, in Germany. And so we sometimes also go talk with, not we, for example, here in the UK, the ASBP recommends what could be done, for example, and we share information basically. So there are good solutions all over Europe, and really try to share these informations. One thing is the association work we do, and the other one is actually the eco label, Natureplus eco label, because we really know that where the market really can do a lot, and so this is kind of our market tool, the eco label. It's for materials. I think that's very important to know, like for people, for architects, for example, active in the construction sector. So there are existing a lot of labels, to be honest. And sorry for that we offer another label. But what we really want to try is to offer like one solution for everything. Because when we talk about sustainability, we really have to take a holistic point of view. So it's not about health only, it's also about climate impact. It's also about resource. Just to give an example, my brother, he's running a drugstore and they're doing a renovation right now. And the problem now, that what they found, of course, they found asbestos. And now they need 2 months more, and this really means money to them. So they can open later. And the thing here with asbestos, for example, was that they put a very interesting fiber in order to save resources because you needed less materials, but they didn't talk about or thought about in this time about the health aspect. And so what we try to do with the eco label really is to identify holistically sustainable building products that are good in terms of health, climate and resources. And to show the market, if you use these materials, you have no problem at all. And also, and this is another aspect, so just to highlight, to give transparency, this is a good product. But then also is the question, okay, now I want to plan, or I'm a community, for example, a city, and I want to push sustainable construction. So how can I do it? So I need something where I can rely, where I can trust on, what I do understand very easily. And this is also something we want to provide with the eco label. So all Natureplus certified eco labels, they really can easily taken for sustainable construction to do a good impact. Yes, exactly. That's the idea, and that's for all people active on the construction market. And then, for example, there's an architect and she or he plans a building regarding to well standard, and then maybe in the next project he has to do one with the DGMB, with the German building standard. So there's so many different criteria, and so what we try to provide really is to be already aligned with all these standards. So what we have just issued is something we call sustainability passport, and in the end it's a very big document, and with you have any sustainability question, take this document, and here you see what points you get with this material when you plan a sustainable building. And so to answer your question, actually, yeah, so we really try to be aligned with all the standards that are out there. Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, Natureplus is not so easy to get because it's a very holistic approach. It doesn't only take one thing of sustainability. So it's not only the material question. So for example, yeah, take wood fiber and then you're fine. No, it also refers to other things like to emissions, VOC emissions, for example, but also to the climate question. So how is it produced? And what we see with certain manufacturers that in one of these 3 points, sometimes they have a challenge. Also when it comes to bio-based materials, they have biogenic emissions. And so it could be a problem with VOCs, something like this, depending on the way how these materials are manufactured. And so it's possible, it's easily possible to achieve very strict thresholds so that you have a very healthy building material there. But well, you have to adapt maybe your production line for this wood fiber insulation material. But then on the other hand, they absolutely have no problem with the question of climate, or with the question of since they can also store carbon, or also with the question of resources. And here, for example, other materials, of course, they might have problems. So what we have excluded actually are petrochemical, like we have a golden rule, let's say. So 85% of the raw material has to be bio-based, mineral, and or recycled. But so this means that mainly petrochemical materials are excluded. I want to give a very easy answer to a very complex question, actually, really. So you don't have to be very worried at all. This product is like holistically very, very good. So that's actually the goal we have. And so right now we have certified about 600 products. So it's really possible. And there we have paints and finishing. We have insulation materials, quite a lot. Also bricks, for example, wood on timber products. So it's really doable, and also to prices that are well, when you buy the material, also prices that really can compete. Yeah, that's an interesting question, because like the indoor quality is affected by a lot of stuff, and of course by the furniture, and also like how you live inside there and how you behave in generally. So for example, like 3 weeks ago, I had a very good Spanish friend from Barcelona in Heidelberg, southern Germany. And as always in the morning, I open all windows. So we Germans are actually really, I don't know if you know that we are really addicted to lüften, it is called. So airing, I think this would be the term. And the Spanish friend, Alejandro, he said, "Oh my God, why are you doing it? It's so cold." And so what I just saw is that the behavior is so different how we live. So when you talk in generally about air quality, it becomes very complex. And and in southern Germany, where I live, there a rather low-tech building where you can open always the window can be the perfect solution. Whereas in Barcelona, with streets with a lot of cars and so on, maybe a very good tied up building with an expensive ventilation and also air cooling system, could be the correct answer. So what I want to say, long story short, so what I really want to say is when it comes to air quality, I think this is not in a room, it's not the level of Natureplus. What we want to supply, really, provide are really the solution for good materials, and the materials as such, when it comes to furniture and all the other stuff, there are the building certification schemes like BREEAM and so on. They are the right solution, I would say. But last thing, what we also would give a certification for and already do are material systems. For example, walls. If you have different layers, so this is something what we also certify.